Title: Ugomma. The Jewel of Umuabuo Part 1. In the heart of Umuabuo, a quiet but culturally rich village surrounded by streams, red earth, and the songs of birds, lived a girl named Ugomma. At 24 years old, she was the only child of her parents, Achara Ugo and Ezuoke. To everyone in Umuabuo, Ugomma was more than a daughter. She was a blessing, a light, and a dance that never ends. From the age of 10, Ugomma's name echoed across the hills every New Yam festival and masquerade ceremony. She was the heartbeat of every celebration, with her feet moving in perfect rhythm to the drums, her waist flowing like the river Ugomma. She wasn't just a dancer, she was the dancer. The elders called her Nwanyi Chukwu Zitari, God's gift to the people. As the years passed, her beauty blossomed like the ojirasai tree in full bloom. Men came from near and far to ask for her hand in marriage, but Ugomma waved them away like dry harmattan leaves. She was enjoying her fame and the love of the village too much to think about settling down. At 28 years old, her fame was at its peak, but her parents began to worry. "Ugomma, our daughter," her father said one evening, "it's time you brought a man home. We want to see our grandchildren before we return to our maker." Ugomma looked at them silently. Deep inside, she thought about her beauty, her importance, and how every festival waited for her. Marriage. That was not yet in her plans. But fate had other ideas. One moonlit evening, Achara Ugo and his wife remembered something, a promise they made 38 years ago at the river Ugomma, when they had begged the goddess for a child. In return, they promised to fulfill a sacred sacrifice if their wish was granted. But after Ugomma's birth they forgot. As the memory struck them, Achara Ugo shouted, Try! We have sinned against the gods." His wife trembled in fear. Without wasting time, they ran to the house of the village priest, Chief Ezuoke, to confess and beg for help. The priest listened quietly, then spoke. "I will go with you to Ugomma to fulfill your vow. But on one condition. After the sacrifice, your daughter Ugomma will marry my son, Atugwu." After a long pause they agreed. 4 market days later, they journeyed to the sacred river. There they offered the forgotten sacrifice: nuts, a white cock, yam and palm oil. The wind blew gently, and the river roared as though it accepted their gift. Months passed. The New Yam festival returned, and Ugomma was once again invited to lead the Ojil dance. Her performance that day made the crowd scream in joy, and Atugwu, the priest's son, could not take his eyes off her. "Papa," he told the priest a week later, "that girl dances into my soul." The priest smiled. "Naem, it is time." On the Eek market day, chief priest and his son visited Ugomma's family for the marriage introduction. Her parents prepared lavishly: cooked yam porridge, roasted meat, palm wine, and kola nuts. Music played, and the village gathered as though it were another festival. When Ugomma was called to give her answer, she stepped out quietly. Everyone watched. Then with a shy smile she nodded, "Yes, I accept." Joy exploded. The village danced again. Ugomma was escorted to her new home with ululations and music. But as she walked away, her mother, Ezuoke, burst into tears. Her only child was leaving, and though her heart was full of joy, it was also heavy. 7 days later, Ugomma returned to visit her parents. They rejoiced and blessed her. The next morning, she returned to her husband's home. 6 months later, the joyful news came. Ugomma was pregnant. "The gods must be praised," her father-in-law shouted. "I see." A month later, her parents came visiting. There was feasting, storytelling, and warm hugs. Chief priest welcomed them with kola nuts and honored them like royalty. The two families sat as one, joined now not just by marriage, but by joy, forgiveness, and tradition. And so ends part 1 of Ugomma, the Jewel of Umuabuo. Stay tuned for part 2, Ugomma's Omugwo visit, where tradition, love, and motherhood meet once again under the watchful eyes of the ancestors.